What are we should news here? Now, Warner Brothers last year had some modest decent stuff. Obviously, Batman was pretty decent, but looks like 2023 seems like it's going to be a better year for the company of Warner Brothers because, of course, they do. DC Studios, of course, they got a new head. There is, a new head of Warner Brothers too, which is David Zaslav, and so I, of course, going to be going down the list of majority of the Warner Brothers movies that are set for release this year, along with films from HBO Max because HBO Max movies are technically for Warner Brothers too. So, with that being said, here are the films from Warner Brothers that are set for release this year. All right, first up, the first Warner Brothers movie coming, which is interesting because believe it or not, the last year the first Warner Brothers movie to come out in 2022, Warner Brothers did not have a movie coming out in 2022 until the Batman. So nice that Warner Brothers has a film coming out early 2023 here. Now, of course, House Party is a remake of the other comedy that had a kid in play. Oh, and here you have a high school student who sneaks out to his friend's house party, and of course, he him and his friend decide to have like a house party at LeBron James' house, which okay, cool there. And I gotta say, this actually looks pretty fun. You got Jacob Blamore, who I think is great on the Chai. I really liked him in the Texas Chainsaw film last year. You also got like DC Young Fly, Melvin Gregg, some cameos by Snoop Dogg and LeBron James. So I'm intrigued to see where they take the film to. Will it be as good as the Kid and Play one? Definitely not, but we'll see. All right. Also coming out in February, we got Magic Mike's Last Dance, which this one was originally supposed to be an HBO Max original, but David Zaslav do want to release mostly movie is more into the theatrical business, so it looks like this is of course a theatrical release. Perfect too because the last two movies done some pretty good though. So I'm looking forward to see where they're gonna take this one too. I mean, I remember when the first Magic Mike got released, I wasn't too excited because it's male stripping and stuff like that. But I had a fun time. I thought, of course, Steven Soderbergh's coming back, so nice to see him returning. Which is interesting. Crazy to believe that this is actually Steven Soderbergh's first theatrical release since 2017's, I believe, Logan Lucky, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was 2018's Unsane. That was his last theatrical release. Because the last movies he's mostly done like for streaming, so I'm glad to see him back here. So, and Channing Tatum, Salma Hayek's also in this. I'm interested to check this one out when it premieres. All right, now in March we got Shazam: Fury of the Gods, which of course I love the first Shazam, so I'm looking forward to see where they're gonna take the sequel to. It looks really entertaining. So of course you got Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu's supposed to be in this. Rachel Zegler's also in this. I mean, I'm so pumped for this thing. I'm hoping for great things, and this is of course gonna be like the pretty much the first major DC movie to come out since James Gunn took over. So that's gonna be interesting. So could be really cool to see. All right. Also out, of course, the trailer for this just dropped, and that is Evil Dead Rise, which I am so pumped for this. Of course, I love the original Evil Dead. The Evil Dead movies have always been really intriguing. And of course, you got Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi producing. One more cast for there. If you guys don't know much about this new one, this is the fifth installment where Beth pays like an overdue visit to her older sister Ellie, who is raising three kids on her own in a cramped LA apartment. And of course, the reunion is got struck by a mysterious book deep in on the bowels of Ellie's building, and so Ellie is and so is there is like a flesh possessing demon and nursing Beth into primary battle for survival. So I am really pumped for this thing. It looks I've already mentioned this when I was talking about the trailer, but it looks gory, looks really intriguing. So I'm looking forward to see where they take this new one too. All right. Also out, Cowboy, coming in June. A film that I'll still believe when I see a trailer. They're supposed to drop a trailer during the Super Bowl, but we'll see if that actually is the case. We'll see if this movie even actually does come out, and that is The Flash. Oh boy, yeah, The Flash, of course, has had its up and its downs, especially the whole Ezra Miller situation. So I'm a little cautious to see how things gonna handle with this Flash film. I'm hoping it's great. Getting Michael Keaton in this. Sasha Kelly as Supergirl. Ben Affleck's in this. I mean, supposedly Faye Adams made a good film, so hopefully, the whole Ezra Miller stuff won't blindside by the film. So we'll have to see if how this thing shapes up. All right, now coming out in July, we of course got Barbie, which I would never expect in a million years I'll get excited for a Barbie film. I mean, that little teaser that got released, which also had Helen Mirren on, but as never in there, I thought that teaser was really good. Of course, you got Margot Robbie playing Barbie. You got Will Ferrell's in this. Ryan Gosling as Ken. I am so pumped for this. I'm hoping it's great. Greg Gerwig has not failed me yet, so hopefully it'll be something decent. All right, coming out in August, we of course got Meg 2: The Trend. Now, this was actually one of the first. The original Meg was actually the first film I actually did a review for when I first started doing all my YouTube videos, and so I'm interested to see where they're going to take the sequel to. I mean, the first Meg was a surprise. I mean, I had a fun time with it. Jason Statham just facing off against a Megadon. One more key asked for. So I don't know if this is gonna be like, I don't know. Will this be the next like Jaws 3D? Who knows? But I'm hoping for great things with this one because Jason Statham is always awesome. So could be interesting. All right, we also got another DC film coming, the third one by the way, and that is Blue Beetle with Zalman Meradunas from Cobra Kai fame. I'm really looking forward to see where they take this one to. You also got George Lopez, Sue Sarandon's in this. So yeah, I'm really intrigued to check out this new Blue Beetle. It does sound like it'd be really cool. And this was just like Evil Dead Rise and Magic Mike's Last Dance. This was also and also like a House Party. This was going to be an HBO Max exclusive, but looks like test screens were pretty good, so now it's going to theirs, which perfect there. So yeah, I'm excited for Blue Beetle when that premieres. All right, coming out in September, we of course got The Nun 2, which of course I did do my top 10 least anticipated films of 2023. And spoiler, The Nun 2 was in that list. The first Nun is my least favorite out of the Conjuring movies. I was not really all that pleasant with that. This does have some ifs with it because of course it is directed by Michael Chavez, who directed the not so great La Llorona, but he also did Conjuring Devil Made Me Do, which I enjoyed. So I don't know. Hopefully, this could be interesting. The synopsis does sound cool though. Where a priestess murder and evil spreading, the secret to the nun follows Sister Irene, once again played by Talisa Farmiga, as she once again comes face to face with demonic force Valak the nun. Once again played by Bonnie Aaron, who is, despite the movie not being all that great, she was creepy in that. So I'll give it benefit of the doubt, but we'll see. I'll probably only just watch it because you got Tyson Omega in it. I think she is always terrific. So could be interesting. All right. Now coming out in November, we got Dune Part 2. Now the follow film will explore the continuing journey of Paul Atreides, united with Chani and the Freeman, as he seeks revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family, facing a choice between the love of his life and the fate of the unknown universe. He endeavors to prevent a terrible future only he can foresee. And so, of course, the first Dune was awesome. So I'm looking forward to see where they're going to take this one to. You got Denis Villeneuve returning to direct. Returning cast members, of course, includes Timothy Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, Javier Bardem, Dave Bautista, with new cast members like Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken. So I'm looking forward to see where they take this new one. Will it be as good as the first film? Who knows? But I trust it as Villeneuve, so we'll see how this thing shapes. And it looks like, of course, Dune Part 2 is not the only Warner Bros. Movie that Timothy Chalamet has coming this year, because coming out in December, he of course has Wonka. Now, this is supposed to be like the origin story of Willy Wonka. directed by Paddington director Paul King, which I love the Paddington movies. You also got Keegan Michael Key supposed to be in this, Sally Hawkins, Rowan Atkinson. So I'm looking forward to check this one out. This is one of my anticipated films of the year. Of course, the original Willy Wonka always holds a place in my heart. It is my second favorite movie of all time. And the movie does still hold up, so I'm intrigued to check this one out. I mean, will Timothy Chalamet be as good as Gene Wilder? No, I'm sure he's not going to try to impersonate Gene Wilder, nothing like that. I mean, did Johnny Depp try to impersonate him in Charlie Chalk Factory? Of course not. So I'm hoping for great things about this new Wonka film. All right, also coming out, we got The Color Purple, which also comes out in December, which is of course based on the classic novel by Alice Walker, and it's the story of a lifelong struggle of an African American woman living in the South during the 1900s. Now, this is of course, I guess you could say also a remake as well because one in the 19 there was the Oscar-winning one in 1985 that had Oprah Winfrey, Whoopi Goldberg, directed by Steven Spielberg, and the cast for this looks intriguing. You got Fantasia, her, Coma Domingo, Taraji P Henson, David Allen Greer. This is actually supposed to be more like a musical adaptation of the play, so I'm interested to see where they take this one to. It could be a dream check out. All right, also out the pretty much the last DC movie of the year, and that is of 2023, and that is Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom. Now, this is supposedly is pretty much gonna be the last DC movie of this whole shared universe until like James Gunn and Peter Safran goes ahead and reboot the whole thing. I know this, of course, this Aquaman film is not has been getting some heat because of the whole Amber Heard situation. But take that aside, I'm still intrigued to see this. You got James Wan attached to direct. Jason, I thought the first Aquaman was great. Jason Momoa was terrific. So, despite Amber Heard and everything, I'm hoping for good things about this. So, we shall say. Now, there's also other like Warner Bros. Movies that's coming, but don't have a release date yet. One of which is Salem Slot, which I wonder if this is going to go to streaming, but we'll see. Now, Salem Slot, stars Lewis Pullman as Ben Mears, who is a writer who returns to his childhood home of Jerusalem's Lot in search of inspiration, only to discover his hometown is being preyed upon by a vampire, leading him to band together with a ragtag group to fight it. Now, this is of course based on a Stephen King novel, which has actually been turned into movies, a couple times. You have Alfred Wood supposed to be in this. I'm intrigued to check this one out. It is from the same director it's from the same director of Annabelle Comes Home. He also wrote like the It movie, so I'm intrigued to check this out when it premieres. It sounds like it'd be really fascinating, so could be really intriguing. All right, now some of these are actually the ones I'm about to talk about are actually going straight to HBO Max. One of which was actually a movie that premiered at Sundance last year called Am I Okay, directed by Tig Notaro, who appeared in Army of the Dead last year, along with and she co-directed this with her wife Stephanie Elleline, and the cast includes the likes of Dakota Johnson, Sano Menzo, Jermaine Fowler, Kirstie Clemens, Molly Gordon, June Diane Raphael, and here's what it's about. Lucy, a 32-year-old woman living in LA, realizes that all her dates with men are unsuccessful because she is a lesbian. With the help of her lifelong best friend Jane, she attempts to navigate coming out and dating women in her 30s. Now, Dakota Johnson, I thought was great in Cha Cha Real Smooth last year, so I'm looking forward to check this one out. It sounds like it'd be really charming. Tig Notaro, I thought was a scene stealer in Army of the Dead, so seeing her direct this could be really interesting to check out. And it actually they got positive reviews at Sundance, which I'm a little surprised that this movie did not really get released. I don't know if maybe the whole David Zaslav stuff, maybe they want to like release Distinct Tears, who knows? But yeah, when it comes out, should be interesting. All right. Also out on HBO Max, we got Turtles All the Way Down, which is actually based on a YA novel by John Green, and it stars Isabel Mercedes, Cree Cucino, Felix Millard, who's also in Janie and Georgia, Judy Reyes, Hannah Marks, who's also directing this. Here's what it's about. When a 17-year-old struggling with abusive compulsive disorder reconnects with her childhood crush, she confronts the possibility of finding love and happiness in the face of mental illness. Now, Isabel Merced, of course, played Dora and Dora and Lost City Gold. I think she is a really cool young actress. Of course, you guys know John Green is the author of books such as Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, Let Us Know, which all also got turned into feature films. So I'm intrigued to check this one out. It sounds like me really charming, so it could be interesting. All right, also on HBO Max, we got a horror thriller called The Parenting. Now, this is directed by Skeleton Twins director Craig Johnson and stars Nick Dodani, who was in Atypical, 13 Reasons Why's Brendan Flynn, along with Brian Cox from Succession fame, Dean Norris from Breaking Bad fame, Parker Posey from Scream 3 fame, Sopranos star Edie Falco, and former Friends star Lisa Kudrow all star in this. And here's what The Parenting is about. A young gay couple, Rowan and Josh, host a weekend getaway with their respective parents in a country house rental. Things take a turn when the three couples discover the presence of a 400-year-old evil entity. And this does sound like it'd be really intriguing. Sounds like a horror version of Meet the Parents in a way. So yeah, this could be really interesting to check out. I won't be surprised if this thing actually gets a theatrical release because, Frank, I won't be surprised if these HBO Max movies do come to theaters because Saves Zaslav does seem like the theatrical guy. I mean, A Christmas Story Christmas probably that was probably an exception, and there was like other Christmas films that premiered last year, but we'll see if that will be the case. Now, the next films I'm going to be listing are mostly like they aren't officially confirmed yet, but they are kind of dark horses. One now, a dream of mine would love to maybe see Batgirl get released this year. That would be sweet, but that ain't happening. That's already canceled. So yeah, maybe they'll release it like on home video or something. I don't know, but it's still a shame. I mean, Leslie Grace. I mean, if you guys have not seen the photo of her in costume, I mean, would have been cool seeing Leslie Grace as a character, but it is what it is, I guess. All right. Now the films that could have long shots. One of which we got Coyote versus Acme, which is the new like live action YA Coyote film, which stars John Cena, Will Forte, and Lena Condor. And here's what it's about. After all the Acme Corporation's product backfired on YA Coyote, in his pursuit of the Roadrunner, he hires an equally unlucky human attorney to sue the company. When Wally's lawyer finds out that his former law firm imitating boss is Acme's CEO, he teams up with the Coyote to win the court case against him. So, of course, the last time we saw Wyatt Coyote on the screen was Space Jam New Legacy, which I'm one of the folks who did not mind that. So I'm interested in seeing this one. This is supposed to be like mixed with CGI live action, so could be interesting. I mean, Wyatt Coyote has always been one of the most iconic, characters in the Looney Tune war. So I'm intrigued. I'm hoping this thing does get released this year because it was supposed to come out in July, but that got delayed. So we'll see if this actually does make its release date, but time will tell. It'll be so cool if Scoop's Haunted Holiday will get released, but that ain't happening. All right, now another dark horse that maybe could come out, who knows, that is Final Destination 6. I mean, they haven't started shooting it, but they are supposed to be shooting the movie pretty soon. We'll probably hear casting updates, who knows. Maybe it'll be like, Halloween, like the Halloween movies where they shoot this the film like the same year it got released. That could easily happen, but frankly, I could totally see this thing just come out in 2024. So we'll see if that actually does happen. But that's pretty much all there. Let me let you guys. Which of the Warner Brothers movies are you anticipating? Some of the ones I'm of course interested in, obviously the DC movies, Wonka, Dune Part 2, Barbie I'm interested in, Evil Dead. I mean, Warner Bros. Has some really cool stuff coming. Anyway, drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Timmy signing out.